The latest AAA release, Calculator, has just hit the Nintendo eShop, and it came out in May. Wow, talk about being late to the party. But no matter. Recently I purchased Calculator on my Switch, and honestly, I'm a bit critical. Overall, the Calculator, well, functions as a calculator, but it's not the best calculator ever made, which kinda undermines the Switch's grand venture into the calculator genre. But now, let's get into the game. First, the game is only 85.2 megabytes, which is very good for a AAA game, and is similar to indie games like Downwell, which makes it so you probably don't have to buy an SD card if you're buying a Switch just for Calculator, which gives Calculator 1 point above Mortal Kombat 11. Now every game has some art to show on the Switch home screen, usually part of the box art, so you can see which game you're selecting. And usually some of these have amazing pieces of art, like Mega Man 0/CX Legacy Collection, A Hat in Time, Breath of the Wild, Pokken Tournament DX, and many more. But Calculator's art is a little weak, just a blue calculator with a white screen, black buttons surrounded by red, which was a bit lazy. They could have at least said like calculator on the white screen. You could have put numbers and symbols on the buttons, and they could have put a fun background, but instead they just go the easy route, which is understandable but a bit disappointing. Now to the actual gameplay, which is pretty straightforward, but has a lot of flaws that have grown more noticeable to me the more that I play. Now the first thing I noticed was that the equation you were writing isn't actually displayed on the massive white bar, but actually right above it, which really alienated me at first. But after a bit of getting used to, I'm able to create equations with little problem, though it does mess me up every now and then. Now this means Calculator has a skill ladder, which almost every game has, but Calculator goes for the approach that it's hard to learn but easy to master, instead of taking the easy to learn, hard to master approach, which many games like Smash and Mario Odyssey use to great success, arguably more so than the games that use the opposite skill ladder, like Mega Man and Cuphead, which is much more alienating to new players, which I single-handedly experience, which some games can use to make their games more enjoyable, but I don't know if this was the right approach to take for Calculator. While yes, this has been done before with handheld calculators, most games and applications in the calculator genre usually go with the opposite approach, which works much better for these types of games in my opinion. So while it is pretty brave of them, I don't know if they made the right decision. Now I have many other problems, including the controls. Now if you press X, you create a multiplication sign, and if you push Y, you get a division sign, which is all fine and dandy. Now my problems start to come when we get to the start and select functionality. If you push down the start button, it gives an addition sign, not an equal sign, which feels a bit misguided. Instead you have to drag this incredibly slow cursor to the equals button, which is just more clunky and genuinely makes it less attractive to use. Select creates a subtraction sign, and I feel Select should be giving the functionality that B has. B, instead of deleting the number you just placed, instead makes it so that the answer of the equation you just typed is divided by, subtracted from, added to, or multiplied from the number you just used to divide by, subtract from, add to, or multiply from the base number you previously typed. It isn't as complicated as I'm making it out to be, I just have absolutely no idea how to explain it. But this is a really useful feature, but isn't nearly as useful as being able to instantly delete a mistake, so I think it should be used on the select button. So the button shortcuts I think should be in the game are A to select a button, B to delete, X should clear the whole equation, Y should put an E in the equation, start should be the equal sign, select should do whatever the B button currently does, and if you really want the plus, minus, times, and divide signs, map them to the D-pad. These controls would make Calculator a much smoother experience, or they should at least give you the option to change controls. Honestly, they should give you a lot more options in general. The ability to change the color of various things, have a portrait layout, the speed of the cursor, which is unbearably slow in the base game, the option to turn off touchscreen support, various themes based on Nintendo franchises, a rewind feature, the ability to map certain equations to CL, CR, and the triggers, and even more. Honestly, Calculator is a bit of a disappointment. A game in the calculator genre could have been a game people talk about for years, but instead it's only been half a year since it came out, and people are already forgetting about it. It's seen as a joke. People probably only clicked on this video because it's a review about the funny calculator game, which makes me a bit sad, but honestly, it's not worth it, so I kinda understand why people find it so funny. But overall, it gets a 3 out of 10 for me. Actually, I'm gonna drop it down to a 2 because no calculator is worth $10.